Welcome to Pro Practice, your guide to refine, enliven, and illuminate the piano repertoire. I'm Josh Wright, and today's episode will be part of the new technique series on Pro Practice. And today we'll be going over scales, arpeggios, triads, and seventh chords in the key of D. And we'll go over all the inversions of the triads and the seventh chords as well. Each one of these videos presents a new technique for you to practice, a new trick or a unique way of doing things. So today, you can check out C major and G major. I'm going around the circle of fifths. So again, circle of fifths, we start with C major, we go up a fifth, that was G major, and I'm going to do the parallel minor. So C major, C minor, G major, G minor. Now today we're going to do D major, D minor, okay? So let's go ahead and get started. I want to start with a different concept on each of these videos. Obviously I'll have to repeat a couple, but since I did scales on the C major video, arpeggios on the G minor video, I'm going to start with triads and inversions today. The concept that I'm going to go over with all of these things is long, short, long, short, long, short. It's a rhythm. And then long, short, 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 long, short, short, short. Okay, so that's a little harder to do with triads and inversions, so we're kind of jumping into the meat of things right now, but it's still good for you, okay? So if I was just to do a scale, that's what I'm talking about, long, short, 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 and then long, short, 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 long, short, short, short. So we're going to apply these to triads. So something we haven't done in other videos is we just usually do one octave. Maybe today we'll do 2 octaves. Okay, I want to go over quickly the fingering. If you haven't checked out my C major video, that's a really good introductory video going over every little fingering very slowly on these triads, but I'm going to go through quickly. 5-3-1 for D, F sharp, A. 5-2-1 for first inversion. Again, to find an inversion of a triad, all you're doing is you're putting the bottom note on top, so you're just reordering it. A lot of people think, oh, that's an F sharp chord because F sharp's on the bottom. Well, I could have this. I could have. All those have F sharp on the bottom. They're not all F sharp chords. They're all different harmonies. You have to look back at something in root position. So root position means it's a tone with a third and a fifth above it. Okay, so that's root position. To find first inversion, put the D on top. F sharp, A, D. A, D, F sharp. D, F sharp, A, back to root position. Second inversion, first inversion, root position. Let's try left hand. 5-3-1, 5-3-1, 5-2-1. 5-3-1, 5-3-1, 5-2-1, 5-3-1, 5-2-1, 5-3-1, 5-3-1. Because our hands are mirror images of each other, that's why the first inversions don't have the same fingering. That's why we don't go 5-2-1 right here, because it's very comfortable for the right hand, but the left hand, that's awkward. So we're going to use 3-1. And the left hand right here, we'll use 5-2-1. Right hand is 5-3-1. That fingering is important. A lot of students just kind of figure it out as they go along. I would urge you to go very slowly and do it hands alone and then together. Okay, so let's try a little bit of a few rhythms just with the major. Definitely practice it hands alone first. What you're doing is you're thinking up, down, up, down, up, down. So you think down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Rather than, don't think down, down. Of course, your hand is going to have to go down, down in order to play it. But if you think in your mind, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, it will really help you out. Okay, let's try it. Okay. That's an advanced technique. If you can't get that right away, don't stress out about it. Go back and work the ways we went over in C major and G major, okay? Or C and G, we did both major and minor, okay? How do we find the minor key from major? All we do is we lower the third a half step, okay? So here's our D minor. Let's go over it slowly. Same fingering, 5-3-1, 5-2-1, 5-3-1, 5-3-1, 531, 531, 521, 531, 521, 531, 531. Okay, let's try the long, short, long. See how floppy I am? Every time I come off, I release into a neutral position. Before we move on to augmented and diminished, let's go over long, short, 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 long. That one's tough. Maybe try it slowly. If you haven't had a chance, watch my video. There's an alphabetical list of all my videos on my website under the lessons page, joshwrightpiano.com/lessons. And it's at the bottom of the page. Look at the video called Free Hands. What you do, practice releasing into a neutral position, little finger staccato. Okay, then you gotta think, grab, 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 grab. Okay, and left. I've worked these so much is because of the Grand Polonaise by Chopin. You know, that is one of the hardest little passages I've ever played. If anything I've ever played. To get really loose and release into neutral positions as you go. Let's try minor. Okay, let's try diminished slowly, because I don't even know how confident I am with diminished. Okay, so. Okay, a little faster. You want to think natural arm weight dropping into the keys. So even on the ones that you're light with, it's like your wrists are light and lifting and your arms are pulling down. So it's kind of like that they're working against each other in a good way. So it's not just all light, but it's not all heavy either. You have your wrists pulling up while your arm is pulling down. And so it gives it kind of a nice buoyancy. It's like there's an elastic and it's just bouncing. Like, you know, those little toys that kids have, you strap a little cuff on there, and then there's a ball, and there's a string attached, and you throw it, and then it comes back. Because it's attached to your wrist, the ball comes back. So almost think of your wrist as being dangled by one of those elastics, and you can go up and down, but your arm weight is always going to be pulling it down. So you have good tension on your wrist, okay? Let's go slowly, just normal. I like to use same fingering here just to not confuse myself. I don't like to switch to an open fingering. Open fingering is like 1, 2, 3, 5, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 5, 3, 2. Again, that's great for different situations, but just learning these, we're trying to get our technique good. We're not trying to master a particular key I need a sequence of D diminished chords. We're not trying to do that. We're trying to just get your technique good overall. So I like to stick with the same fingering as I do on major and minor triads, even though it's a little more crunched. And on the augmented, it's a little more spread out. Keep the fingering the same. Release into neutral positions. Okay, and then. Okay, and then slide back to major, and then raise the fifth for augmented. I'd have to sit and work on that a little bit. Awkward. And again, you don't have to get them that fast, even if you just did. This technique series is designed to help you in a myriad of different ways to give you tons of different options. By the end of the series, you'll have at least 12 different ways to practice. This video has 2 different ways to practice, so you'll have at least 13 ways of practicing your scales and arpeggios, not just the metronome, slow to fast, every day. I'll even do an episode with metronome and show you some fun ways to work with the metronome that are not just plain, 1 note per click or whatever. So, all right, let's go ahead and we're going to move on to 7th chords. Okay, so 7th chords, I went over this again in the C major video very extensively, but we start with the D major triad and then put an octave on top. Okay, so you have your octave up there, step down a half step, and there is a D major 7 chord. Okay, so we're just going to play our root position chords first, then we'll go over inversions. Okay, step your 7th down, D, F sharp, A, C natural, that is D dominant 7. Step your 3rd down, that's D minor 7, D, F, A, C natural. Okay, this is my favorite chord, the half diminished chord. Step your 5th down from minor 7, that's half diminished, D, F, A flat, C, D half diminished 7. Okay, step your 7th down, and that gives you D fully diminished 7. And sometimes they just call it D diminished 7. You don't have to say fully diminished. I just like to distinguish between half diminished and fully diminished. So that's why I say fully diminished. Okay, let's go over those again. 7th, 7th, 3rd, 5th, 7th. So I'm telling you which ones step down. Let's go a little faster. Just triad with octave. Major 7, dominant 7, minor 7, half diminished 7, fully diminished 7. Let's go real quick in the left hand. Normal, just triad. Major 7, dominant 7, minor 7, half diminished 7, fully diminished 7. Okay? Now, let's do those hands together. Oh, good grief. And sometimes spreading them out helps you a little bit because it can be kind of like daunting to see 8 different notes playing down at the same time right in the same register. So if you have to, it probably sounds better like this. Like that, okay? All right. Now, let's go through slowly and do at least for the first one, we'll go slow, the inversions, okay? Again, for inversions, just put your bottom note on top. Okay, so D goes to the top. And if you need to, just reminding you from a different video, you can roll them up as you go if you're having troubles, okay? Okay, I'll go slow on D diminished, or dominant, sorry. Diminished. Fully diminished. Sometimes you can look at the shapes of these. So there's like one black note in there, and the black note shifts from the 3rd position to the 2nd position to the 1st position. So it's on bottom. So it's 2nd to top, 3rd to top, bottom, top, middle, 2nd, bottom, like that. So that can sometimes help to look with shapes like that if you're having a tough time with one specific thing. Okay, moving on. Let's try left hand. Those together on your own, but I'm just going to skip this just for time's sake. I'm just going to go right into my rhythms. Maybe you do. I'm sorry. let's put it on steroids here and do long, short, short, short. Let's go a little slower. I don't think we really need that fast of. Enjoy your long notes. It's like you're working out and you're taking a little breather. Sorry, that was bad coming down. Okay, dominant. Minor. Half diminished. Fully diminished. Okay. All right. Let's move on to, let's go with arpeggios, I guess. Okay, so D major arpeggio. I still like 4. But you can, you know what? You probably do 3 on this one. You could do 3 or 4. Coming up, 4 is a little easier, I think, but 3 is probably easier coming down. So let's do 3 in the left hand. 5, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1. Right hand is just the opposite. 1, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Hands together. Connecting. Folding our hands over. Not letting our elbows wing out. Don't do that. That's terrible. A little trick. Actually, one of my students pointed this out to me maybe a year ago or so. He said, are you rolling your hand this way? You know, because I always said, you know, kind of roll your hand under and grab it. But he's like, are you rolling it kind of that way as well, like tilting it? And sure enough, I am. You know, I'm not just coming around like this because that makes me force my elbow. But if I tilt my hand this way, I can actually come under and grab that. Now, I don't think that's something that you should focus on, is rolling your hand over a ton, but just a little bit helps with the flexibility. It helps with the connection because A to D is a big connection. That's a long way to travel. If you don't have big hands, it's especially hard. So roll your hand a little this way and a little under. So practice doing this, kind of nail your hand down to the keys and then roll it around. Okay, left hand. Okay, hands together. Let's try our rhythms. By the way, I need to mention, when you're doing your rhythms, make sure it doesn't apply quite as much on your chords because you're switching so many notes at once. But on these single note things like arpeggios and scales, make sure the short notes go fast. Dum, ba-bum, ba-bum. They don't have to necessarily make the long notes go fast. So as you start going faster on your short notes, don't go dum, ba-ba, ba-ba, ba-bum. You know, not too fast on your long notes. Your long notes can stay slow. Dum, ba-bum, ba-bum. But because the whole point of this is to give you little bouts of speed. Dum, ba-bum, ba-bum. And with the long, short, short, short. Dum, ba-ba-ba-bum, ba-ba-ba-bum, ba-ba-ba-bum. Long, short, short, short. Okay, let's try D minor. I like 5, 4, 2, 1 on that. That's just my personal opinion. If you like 3, 2, 1, go with that. It's really not that big of a deal. I think 4, 2, 1 keeps your hand a little bit more straight on. This one tilts your hand a little bit more, but it's a little easier to do crossovers when you're doing 3. Cross unders, sorry. And crossovers are easier with 4. Cross unders are easier with 3. So you choose. Maybe you do 5, 3, 2, 1 with the first one, and then the rest are 5, 4. That's probably bad advice. your piano teacher, if you are studying with anyone, will probably get mad at me for saying that. But I think it's fine. Okay, now let's try long, short, long, short. Always thinking strong on long, short because it's so minimalistic. You're only playing 2 notes at a time, whereas this, light, 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 big, light, 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 big. Can you hear the difference? This one is lighter overall. With the exception of the loud notes. This one, it sounds all big because the long notes are coming so frequently. Okay, let's try D major scale. All right, you don't need to do augmented or diminished arpeggios. If you're going to do something like that, do your 7th chord arpeggio. So those will keep you busy. Those are tough. Okay, we're not going to go over those in these videos. All right, so here we go. D major. Focus on where your 4 is because it comes once per octave, and scales are linear. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? C sharp is the right hand 4. 4, 4, 4. Wow. Missed it. That is pathetic. Okay, let's try it again. Left hand 4 is going to be on E's. All right? 4, 4, 4, 4. Okay, now I've given you a couple different tips. I don't know how many more of these tips I really have after today's of little things to kind of show you where the cross unders are. Today I want you to focus on your thumbs. Every time you hit D's, I want you to think thumbs, okay? So I did different ones on different focus points on C major and G major so far, but every time we hit D's, we're going to think ones. Except for the bottom ones, we're going to think 5 and 1. So you know what? Just for the sake of this, pretend that your pinky is a 1 as well. And so at the top, I can say ones, and you're going to think, okay, yeah, pinky can be exchanged. We're just thinking of it as a 1. And same thing at the bottom. Pinky can be considered 1. Just so that every time you hit octave Ds, you have thumbs on the octaves. Okay, that's not true for a couple scales. Like B flat major, you're going to have 3 on B flat, 4 on right hand B flat. Okay, so it's not always the exact same thing, but for all these white key major scales and minor scales, it's always thumbs on the octave that you're doing. Okay, here we go. Ones, 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 ones. Now, if you want to make it more interesting, do every octave on the piano that you can go up to. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 octaves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Sorry, it's 5 octaves. I'm being dumb. Okay. All right. Let's try the military. Okay, D minor, how many flats do we have in D minor? We have 1 flat, and then you always raise the 7th scale degree. So if scale degree 1 is here, scale degree 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, you're going to raise that 7 up there. 4. 4 on C sharp in the right hand. 4. Okay, let's try our long, short, and then long, short, 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 long. Let's go through everything now, okay? So we're going to start with scales, arpeggios, triads, seventh chords. Here we go. Pretty sloppy. Okay, triads. Seventh chords. Because I'm giving you different techniques to practice each of these, you work those techniques, and you can apply the C major techniques to D major, and whatever key you can apply any of the techniques to any key. There's no reason I'm doing this for D major. So apply all the techniques to all of your different scales that you're working on. At the end, I just like to go through everything just to recap everything we did that day in a smooth, consistent tempo there. If any of you have any questions, my email is josh@joshwrightpiano.com. I'm having a great time recording this new technique series. I hope you find it helpful. Have a great week, and thank you for your support of Pro Practice.